And that's something that the ArmGlide does really well. You know exactly the volume you're getting with every pull, you know the range of motion you're getting. And like I said, you just can't do that with a typical band.
Hello and welcome to the Pitch to Product podcast here at 52 Launch. As you can see, it's a bit of a different podcast episode here because we are talking all about ArmGlide, the guided resistance tool developed, designed, and manufactured by us here at 52 Launch. I'm Steve Sisto, joined by Leanne Eggimann, our social content lead here at 52 Launch. Now, Leanne, in addition to developing social content, you are also an athlete in your own right. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Can you tell us about your athletic journey, what your goals and priorities are?
Yeah. So growing up, I was always into sports. And slowly from sports, I sort of got more into lifting and strength training. And then I got into running. And so I decided to become a personal trainer, which I still do today. But alongside that, I like to race. So I like to do half marathons. I'm hoping to do a marathon one day. I do CrossFit, and then I also do high rocks.
So for someone like you, for whom fitness and strength are important, as well as a personal trainer, and so I imagine your clients, it's also important for them too. Where do you think ArmGlide fits in for both you as well as your clients?
Oh, yeah. I think ArmGlide can fit in a couple of different ways. You know, this is the light one. So if you're ever doing any shoulder mobility work or recovering from an injury, this is the product to have. You can use it in so many different ways. Keeping your shoulders healthy are so important. So if you neglect, using the lighter weight, you can't really use the bigger weight for that strength development.
So let's dive into exactly what ArmGlide is. It's pretty simple. It's just a tube with an extension piece. And as Leanne mentioned, there's 3 different resistance levels: a light, medium, and a heavy. I've got the heavy here, and it's quite difficult, actually. But the thing that's so cool about it is there is 24 inches of extension, so you can really measure your progress over time. If, say, you're recovering from a rotator cuff surgery, and maybe at the beginning you can only barely get an inch or 2, and then over time you can get to 6 or 8 or finally even all 24 inches. So it's a great way to actually see how your strength and your mobility is developing over time.
For sure. And I think that's where this product comes into play, where you can't do that with a band. You can't see your progress. There's no way to measure how far you're pulling it. And bands get loose. So there's no way to track it. And that's something that the ArmGlide does really well. You know exactly the volume you're getting with every pull, the range of motion you're getting. And like I said, you just can't do that with a typical band.
And so let's talk about which resistance level might be right for which person. So who do you think would be best for the light version?
So I would say for the light version, our older adults that are purely just trying to keep their range of motion in their shoulders, keep that strength in their shoulders, I would say the light. But I would also say the light for anyone recovering from an injury. So if they're in physical therapy, this would be perfect for them. But also I would use the light too. And I have perfectly healthy shoulders. And I think that's to say, because using the light and the heavy, you have to be able to balance it with, light work, but also having heavy work, just purely to keep your shoulders healthy.
So having more than one at your disposal is pretty helpful, even for someone like you, who you're an athlete. You have probably a superior level of fitness compared to most people, but you still use the light as well as the heavy for different purposes.
Oh, 100%. I would use the light, the medium, and the heavy for whatever I was doing. Honestly, I would do them in the same workout too. So I would probably start with the light, loosen up the shoulders, get those small little muscles activated and primed, ready to go. And then maybe I would go with the heavy or the medium, depending on, what the workout was. But I would use them all. I think getting the bundle is a great option, for anyone just trying to keep that shoulder healthy and also getting the strength there too. Using all of them would be perfect.
Yeah, so you mentioned seniors, you mentioned people rehabilitating. and injury athletes, obviously, really anybody who strength and mobility and fitness in general, ArmGlide is useful for.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I got one for my mom. She's a swimmer and she's also going through physical therapy. So she's using the light, but we also have the medium for her to kind of
Mm.
build up. And it's not just shoulders too, right? You can use this for your triceps, your biceps. There's so many different ways to use them, your lats. So it's not just shoulders. You know, I could do a full body workout with an arm glide, and I did, and it kind of roasted me actually. So there's so many different ways to use it.
So let's talk through some of the exercises that can work different muscle groups, work different um, rotator cuffs, and so on and so forth. What are some of the exercises that you typically
So,
would use?
like I said, it depends on the day, but I'm very big on using it for mobility. So, making sure you have that full range of motion in your shoulder. You can use it for your lats, you can use it for your triceps, your biceps. Getting those scapular muscles, down and back is really important for posture, making sure you're not always slouching. So, making sure your lats and your shoulders, your traps are activated and pulling your shoulders down and back. If you see anyone slouching in the office like this, maybe they need an arm glide.
And I feel like I have to sit up now. You put
Sit
me
up
on
now.
blast here, right? So ArmGlide has a full suite of exercises that they recommend to target different muscle groups and so on. We'll put a link to their website in the description below so you can check out all of those exercises. Leanne, anything else to add about ArmGlide?
I would just say, like, if you're into fitness or you're just into being healthy, ArmGlide is perfect. And like I said, depending on who you are, all of them are of use, regardless of if you're doing sports, if you're an older adult, if you're into bodybuilding, like they all have a purpose. So I highly recommend it.
Awesome. Well, go to armglide.com and check out this amazing resistance trainer for yourself and drop a comment down below. What would you use ArmGlide for? And keep following us here at the Pitch the Product podcast at 52 Launch. Thanks for watching.